Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host, T. is Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanstradamus, aka Blanchy Kruger. And today's title is The Global Victim Part 1. The Global Victim Part 1. Nicodemus said, just today I had my favorite student, a 9-year-old I taught for a couple of years who loves me, suddenly get nasty with me, spoke of death, read a UN versus US propaganda piece, and angrily to me to shut it. Well, Nicodemus, what you just said is almost divine because that's my subject for today, the global victim. And we think about, oh, that's good, Frank. That's good. You still hooping. That's good. That's good. Got some good news, y'all. Frank's still hooping overseas. But Nicodemus just said what I'm about to talk about, and that is the global victim. You see, what happens is when you get a bunch of grown men on large platforms telling the world that they're victims, this is what you get. You get a spirit of victimization. If you think about what globalism really is, all globalism really is a way to protect victims from white people. That's all it is. Is protecting the victims, everybody that's non-white, from white people. If we know that when we think about things like racism, anti-Semitism, transphobia, homophobia, xenophobia, all these things are linked to white people. If you notice, when they talk about all these things, it's only talked about with white people. You've never heard a black person being accused of being xenophobic. Like I'm just saying. You've never heard a Hispanic person be accused of being xenophobic. You think you haven't heard of it. Anyway, so that's what we have. We have the global victim. What's up, Mystic Philly? What's up? It's been a minute. But let's jump right into it. Go back to my point. So my point is that the United Nations, what's the other one? The World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, WHO, World Health Organization. These institutions are just designed, and they're really just anti-white institutions because the goal of them is to corral everybody together to go against white people. We think about racism, colonialism, imperialism, all the isms, they point to white people. And so what you'll find is that the world has become one big victim. And you know who's left with the brunt of that responsibility? White people. Hence why you have mass migration only into white countries. It's a reason for that. It's a reason why because everybody else in the world is ethnocentric. China, Israel, Africa, everybody is ethnocentric around the world. The only countries expected to embrace everyone with open arms are white people. Because now it's been said that if you're white, it's actually a stigma. And being proud to be white is racism. And wanting white solidarity is Armageddon. I'm telling you all now, if white people say we want to be left alone, it will literally start World War III. That's World War III. White folks saying we want to be left alone, we want to be done with it, World War III. But anyway, Nicodemus said, and that's a Chinese student. Listen, I've been looking at this for the past maybe 2 years. And what I'm telling you is that all of these agendas and movements have one thing in mind. The goal of it at the end is to usher in the Antichrist, but you have to get rid of white people because white people have created a world everyone can live in. If the world was like Africa, think about it. Just say, okay, take your bias away for a second. You pick a non-white country and let that be the global standard and tell me if you want to live there. Pick a non-white country, non-white, and let that be the global standard and tell me if you want to live there. The answer is no. No. So isn't it ironic that the group of people that have paved the way for everybody is the group that's most scrutinized? And everybody scrutinizes white people. Everybody. Everybody. But what's happened is that when you have all of these people saying that they're victims, all these leaders, all these countries, this is what you get. You get a spirit of victimization around the world. And so now everybody's identifying as a victim. This is why Donald Trump is disliked. He's not disliked because people think that he's racist. He's disliked because he's masculine. That's why he's disliked. He's not a victim. So if you think about it, if you don't talk like a victim, you're going to offend people. Think about this. Donald Trump has been lied on for the past 10 years straight. Lie after lie after lie after lie. Donald Trump has not one time said, let's use censorship. Think about that. Think about Donald Trump being lied on for the past 10 years straight. And he has not called for any censorship. You know why? Because as a man, you want to prove people wrong. You want to defeat them. You don't want to censor them. You want to defeat them when they run in their mouth. You want them to be loud and wrong, loud and proud, then you want to defeat them. But then we go to BB. BB been scrutinized for a couple of years now, and he want to buy up every media company and shut everything down. One is masculine, one is feminine. One is masculine, one is feminine. Donald Trump speaks like it is. He says what he wants to say and takes the arrows for it. Benjamin Netanyahu says what he wants to say, but then he goes and hides. And we know that if we were on a street level, on a ground level, that the guy that you would like out of BB and Trump would be Trump. If you had to pick between two guys, you're gonna pick Trump. But anyway, today's title again is The Global Victim. The Global Victim. And again, when I'm talking about people, I'm going to a core level. And I'm simply saying that a lot of men that have high positions are feminine, victimized men, and they spread victimization. You think Obama, was Obama a tough guy? Was he a no holds barred? And think about it. Obama had carte blanche. He could do no wrong. And he still wasn't doing what Trump was doing. Joe Biden had carte blanche, and he still wasn't doing what Trump was doing. These people had everything handed to them. They can't mess up. They can't make a mistake, and they still won't do what Trump is doing. You know why? Because when you're not a victim, you're going to offend most people. Imagine Trump saying, we only have two genders in America. We only have two genders in America. Now, on the surface, it's just common sense. Once you peel back the layers, it goes from, oh, that sounds homophobic. That sounds transphobic. Oh, well, if he's homophobic and transphobic, then he must be racist. And if he's racist, he must be xenophobic. And he's xenophobic, he must be a misogynist. Like, you see what I'm going with this? What they've done is they have all of these so-called sins, and if you're guilty of one, you're guilty of all, much like the law. That's why the law is a curse. Much like the law, if you don't follow one of the laws, you ain't followed none of them. And it's the same thing with this world we live in right now. The global victim. It's quite disgusting. And I think the main contributors of this global victim narrative are liberal whites, liberal Jews, and black people. They're on both ends of you got blacks on this end, you got liberal whites and liberal Jews on this end, and they both sit at both ends of the spectrum. They are the ones fueling and feeding this global victimization. Because the premise of their existence is of a victim. For blacks, it's slavery. For Jews, the Holocaust. For white liberals, they have a grievance with just, I guess, mad they were born white. I don't know. But let's continue. Let's continue. I hope I'm being offensive. I hope I'm being offensive. Okay, let me go to give you an example.
A man saying you can grab him by the pussy when you're famous is outrageous, in my opinion.
Why?
Like, that's fucked up.
Why is that outrageous?
Because I think.
Have you ever listened to hip hop? Have you ever listened to rap?
Yes.
Do you listen to rap?
I do. The rap that I like the most is stuff that actually has a message. When it's just like brainless bragging about money and drugs and hoes, I actually tune out. Even though the beat might be good, I tune out.
My point is,
now, already, the guy on the top is my boy 100 Days of Summer, but the guy on the bottom, if you had to guess, would you say he was a masculine man or a more softer version of that? Is he a masculine man or a great value man? Would you say he was leaning more towards the left or more towards the right?
that's true. That those men demonstrated over and over and over again that when you are famous, you can grab them by the pussy.
There's a big difference between an athlete or a rapper and the guy running for president.
He wasn't
First
president.
of all, grabbing someone by the pussy is sexual assault.
Was he when he said it, though?
He was a candidate. He was like on the presidential like race scene. Actually, no, it's not true. That he said that in like 2005. So no, but still.
What you're talking about is kind of like a moral/professional argument. When you're a person that doesn't really believe in being politically correct, you're going to always look crazy in that arena. But politically correct is nothing more but clever marketing. It's not your person. We don't know who Obama actually is. We've never met him.
That's true. That's true. Forget that.
So you notice what he said. First, he said that President Trump said, grab him by the pee. And that's just wrong to say. It's just egregious. But then 100 Days of Summer says, well, he wasn't the president, though. And then the guy says, well, he was running for president. Then the guy says, oh, you know what? He said 2005. Think about it. So think about this logic. Somebody secretly records you saying something in 2005. You're running for president in 2016. Somebody records you in private saying what these women will allow you to do when you are a billionaire. And what he said was true. You can be a thousandaire. You can do it for free. So His first, this is one thing you'll know about a victim. A victim will always move the cheese. All victims are born in Wisconsin. All victims move the cheese. They are constant cheese movers, because what the victim is doing is the victim is escaping the truth. That's what truly makes someone victim-minded, is running from the truth.
It's Trump. Someone just says you can grab him by the pussy when you're famous. What do you think of that?
That's why I brought up hip hop, because I've been rapping those lyrics my entire life.
Let's say I had a daughter. I wouldn't feel good about the most powerful man in America or in the world saying shit like that and then just being like, yeah, off to school you go. That football QB, he can just grab you by the pussy. Like, no, what the fuck?
At the end of the day, that's your job. You have to teach your daughter not to idolize rappers. That's what stops that from happening. At the end of the day,
Sure.
Because these little girls listen to Sexy Red, right? Who talk about my booty hole brown, my pussy pink, right? You see what I'm saying?
You know what? I'm going to leave this debate for women to have between themselves, because I'm not going to go and tell Sexy Red what she can't rap about.
Women.
You see that? Victims always move the cheese. You saw what he just did, right? He just said, when Hunter brought up Sexy Red and what his daughters listen to, he said, I'm going to let Sexy Red do what she wants to do. So again, if Donald Trump wasn't president and he said something 11 years before he wanted to be president, how was that still a sin for him? I'll tell you why. Because he's white. And I'll say this again. White people are burdened with being the closest thing to God. The expectation for a white person is perfection. Donald Trump said something in 2005, which this guy acknowledges. And you mean to tell me in 2026, he still can't live it down? You know why? Because in his mind, he doesn't believe that white people make mistakes. He believes that white people are so benevolent and perfect that when they do something wrong, it's on purpose. And I don't think Trump was wrong with what he said. I don't. What's up, Jody? I don't think he was wrong. I think he said the truth. And I think we have to get back to telling the truth, because pretty soon here, listen, all censorship, and me being a person that has been targeted by censorship, all censorship is a way to silence the truth. You've never seen a lie censored, ever. They've never censored a lie. If you don't believe me, just think about what you can't talk about. When climate change ramps up, you will not be able to say that it's fake. So censorship is only for the truth. And censorship eventually becomes a way to silence the word of God. That's the whole purpose of it. Because once you start chipping away at the truth, you're going to get to the final truth. That's the goal. You just piecemeal it.
We're literally saying I can't vote for this man because he said that. Meanwhile, Joe Biden was actually accused of going up a woman's dress and grabbing her vagina.
I had a skirt on and he went down my skirt and then went up.
Reid claiming Biden pulled back when she resisted.
I'm not going to defend Biden.
Me either. That's not the point. My point is people don't think. It's about who they like or who they don't like. It's not about rationality. Trump never said, go grab women by the pussy. He never said, I'm pro-sexual assault. He says, I'm a billionaire. They let me get different rules. Just like rappers say. We have an entire culture that literally makes these people who say these things millionaires.
A man saying you can...
So,
a man...
again, this is where the world is. Victims. 7494 said during the Biden administration, you couldn't talk about voter fraud. You couldn't talk about voter fraud. You couldn't talk about them shots. You could talk about a lot of things during the Biden administration. A lot of things. But that's my point. My point is censorship is only towards the truth. They never censor lies, ever. Every lie that's been said about Donald Trump has been allowed to flourish. Even to this day, they still say find people on both sides. Every lie about Trump is allowed to flourish. They only censor the truth. So anybody coming and saying we have to do something when it comes to people speaking, it's only against the truth. It's only against the truth. Let's continue. What's up, Torlita? Let's continue. Let's see.
I'm surprised that you still see it as like the dichotomy of left or right. Do you think that the other side is just gonna save us?
No, I don't.
We agree on that.
I'm not telling you to vote conservative. I'm not telling.
You know what's funny about black people? Black people want you to believe that they are not left Democrats. Even black people that say, I don't vote, are still Democrats. Even black people that say I'm a libertarian are still Democrats. You know why? Because all of the propaganda is left-leaning. There's no right-leaning propaganda. There's no right-leaning propaganda for black people. None. Zero. Zero. So a black person that's not involved in politics saying they're neutral, they're lying. Most black people around the world lean left because they're victims. They're victims. Even a campaign saying vote is telling you to vote for who? Democrats. Vote or die, vote Democrat. Rock the vote, vote Democrat. Get out there and vote, vote Democrat. All those campaigns are to get people to vote Democrat. Because the assumption is that people on the right are more intelligent. They're already going to vote. You don't have to campaign for the right to vote. They're already going to vote. Because the right is what? Majority white. Daryl said if the blacks don't vote Democrat, it's only because they don't like the candidate. Exactly. But even still, the majority of them that do vote will still vote for that candidate. They'll just say it's the lesser of two evils. Simulated students, take your booty to the polls. All of these things are to get people that normally would not vote or vote sporadically to vote, to go. I told you all in 2021, in the local election here in Georgia, I went to go cast my vote for, Governor Kemp and everybody else. And when I went to go cast my vote, somebody already voted for me. Somebody already voted for me. And I realized that what they were doing was, this is how they were cheating too. So what they would do is they would blast you with text messages, blast you with, phone calls, blast you with putting stuff in your mailbox. They would blast you with all kind of just vote, Democrat, vote Democrat. But if you didn't respond, then they said, okay, if you're a registered voter that doesn't respond, we're going to use that as a vote. That's what they were doing. That's one of the ways. If you are a registered voter, registered Democrat voter, and I found out that I was, if you are a registered Democrat voter and you didn't respond to any of the paraphernalia or the phone calls or whatever, they were going to use your vote and cast it. And when I went up there, my vote was cast. And so when I went there, the lady, she said, now imagine me telling you that a vote was cast for me and you aren't shocked, you don't question it, you don't say, oh my goodness, how did that happen? Like nobody was shocked. No, like nobody was like, how in the world did it? They were so calm and casual. So I said, ma'am, my vote was cast for me. She's like, you sure? I said, yes, ma'am. I talked to the lady right there, told me to come over here. And she's like, okay. She said, this was she. I'm not exaggerating. She said, okay, you ladies, come over here so I can show you something. So she had about 8 women around her. She said, I want to show you all how to delete a vote. So she is on an iPad. She hit the iPad about 3 times. She said, there you go. So it was 3 taps on that iPad, deleted my entire vote. So I'm just letting you know how easy it was to do. All this ballots and all that stuff, that's nothing. That woman went in there and tapped that iPad 3 times and my vote was gone. And I was able to vote again. So I'm just telling you all that any campaigning to vote is for you to vote Democrat. I got my cousin on here. What's up, cuz?
You to look at politics as the answer. I'm telling people to look at politics as the problem. For Black people in America, at least 80% of us have put our vote behind these people for the last 90 years. That's not thinking. That's not being politically savvy. It's not even giving people a reason to fight for your vote because they know they got it. They've had it for a century. So that means that the Democrats know they're going to get it and the Republicans know they're not going to get it. So no one has to give you anything for your vote. We should divorce ourselves from the idea of political capital and start going back to human capital, the thing that every other ethnicity that's not represented in politics at all is doing and succeeding. They don't care about no policies because they're doing the thing that we were doing before we had any political representation. When we look at things correctly that way, then we can't be used anymore. We can't be manipulated based off our race and history or our fear of racism. All the ethnicities that are outperforming white Americans, those people aren't worried about racism or political representation.
Look at this guy's face. Look at his face. This is why people avoid the truth. Because the lies entertain, but the truth convicts. This is why people avoid the truth, because it comes with conviction. That means once you know the truth, you cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. This is why people avoid the truth. It's all part of God's masterful design and plan. God said, the truth shall set you free. That means whoever hears the truth, they can't unhear it. They can't unknow it. So what you see most people doing is they're doing all of this stuff to try to either conceal the truth or avoid it. They're trying to conceal the truth or they're trying to avoid it. Because you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. This is most people. This is why the world is essentially going to fall, because they're going to try to avoid the truth or deny it. For the Bible says that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess, because people will have denied and rejected and not want to yield to the truth. And the reason why every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess is because you already know the truth. See, the beauty of this thing is that everything that people are trying to avoid, they already know. David Goggins said, I was even on the couch at 300 pounds, I knew what to do. Think about that. Think about him saying that at my lowest point in my life, I still knew what to do. This is why folks ain't going to escape judgment. The reason why there's going to be a judgment day is because you know. See, judgment day wouldn't be fair if you didn't know. But the fact that you're going to have a judgment day means that God knows that you know. Everybody knows what's really going on. Everybody knows, whether they admit it or not. What are people doing? They're either avoiding the truth or trying to conceal it. But let's continue.
Say Black Lives Matter and Black voices matter until a Black voice expresses an opinion that differs from what the white man has fed them. Now that's true. That is true. I can't lie to you. It's like to protect all Black women, and then I see the way people treat like Candace Owens. So it's like, oh.
Hold on a second, y'all. Nothing was wrong with what he said. What he said was right. I'm saying that the guy that was listening to him, the look on his face, he was talking to a guy on this video. And I said the guy's face, you could tell that what he was saying was resonating with him. But this is what, see, as a man, right? As a man, it is imperative that you run to the truth. As a man, the earlier that you can accept the truth, the better your life's going to be for a man. Women, they avoid the truth to their grave. But men, you have an obligation to run to the truth because God is counting on you to tell it and to live it and to hopefully guide others, especially women.
They say Black Lives Matter and Black voices matter until a Black voice expresses an opinion that differs from what the white man has fed them. Now that's true. That is true. I can't lie to you. It's like to protect all Black women, and then I see the way people treat like Candace Owens. So it's like, oh shit, so Black is not skin color, obviously. Black is it's a belief system. Before people knew my political beliefs, they loved me, right? I was the good guy, the orgasm guy. And then as soon as they heard about my political beliefs and me asking questions, all of a sudden I became the guy over here. Just that quick. Not because my skin changed, but because I don't abide by the belief system. I love making it rear its head so high that everybody has to see it and acknowledge it. I love that. That's why I was talking about the energetic covenants thing, where you don't lower your vibration and try to go and roll in the mud with them. That's not what you do. You fight like the girl on Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, like her husband did at the end. When she started, basically, she fought with love.
So I'm gonna play it again, what he said. I'm gonna play it again.
They say Black Lives Matter and Black voices matter until a Black voice expresses an opinion that differs from what the white man has fed them. Now that's true. That is true. I can't lie to you. It's like to protect all Black women, and then I see the way people treat like Candace Owens. So it's like, oh shit, so Black is not skin color, obviously. Black is it's a belief system.
Now, the person on this comment said, no, Black is a skin color, which is not true. This is why I tell Black people wake up every day living a lie. Your skin isn't Black. There is no child learning their colors that you could say, what color is my skin? And they're going to say Black. A child has to be taught a lie to accept their skin is Black when it's not. So if the slogan is protect Black women, then that also means Black conservative women too. If there's a slogan that says protect Black women, listen to Black women, that means protect Black conservative women and protect Black and listen to Black conservative women. Protect Black Republican women and protect and listen to Black Republican women. But it doesn't mean that. So clearly, being Black doesn't mean what they say it means, because listen to Black women should be for all Black women. It's not. It's only for Black women that adhere to liberal, left-leaning, democratic ideologies, socialist views, communist views, globalist views. That's what it means. There's no such thing as somebody being independently Black. This person says, no, Black is a skin color. It's not. It's not the only one that's dark. So it's bronze. So it's chocolate. So it's ruddy mahogany, pine, almond, walnut. Just again, this person has a victim's mindset. And how do we know this? Because the person is doing what? avoiding the truth. That's how you know somebody's a victim. They're avoiding the truth. Skin is in black. There's people that are black. There's nobody with black skin. Nobody. There's nobody with black skin. There's nobody with black eyes. There is a black skin color. Sorry. Show me where. Show me. Show me a person with black skin in real life. I've been to Africa and wasn't nobody. I went to 4 countries and nobody had black skin. Nobody. Nobody. So anyway, that's my so my point is that black is not based on skin color because a person's skin is not black. Black is based on ideology. So for example, if a person wants to be Republican, they have to be a black Republican. If a person wants to be conservative, they have to be a black conservative. You have to be if you want to be black and Republican, they're going to specify that you are a black Republican. If you want to be black and conservative, they're going to specify that you are a black conservative. Why? Because being black is already assumed that you are Democrat and liberal. They only specify you when you leave the ideology. So instead of it being church, it's black church because black church is different from church. Church is about the word of God. Black church is a circus. It's a show. Right, Daryl. God's never called us black people. But part of you being black is so that you can influence the world to also be black. I talk about the globalization of blackness because the goal is to get everybody in the world to think like black people, an ever perpetual victim. And keep it in mind, Jews and blacks think the same way about being a victim. One's identity is entrenched in the Holocaust, the other's in slavery. The difference, though, with Jews and blacks is Jewish people actually value family, community, achievement. They actually value these things. Black folks don't. See, I told you, victim. I just read one comment. Look at everybody bombed in the Middle East. Victim. And the reason why you have so many men that do this is a lot of these men grew up. Think about it. You can't even be black without being a victim. As soon as somebody black says, I'm not a slave, I don't associate myself with slavery, what's going to happen to them? Listen, my first YouTube channel got deleted. You know why? Because I was talking about black culture. Think about that. I was talking about black culture and my account got deleted. Now think about this now. They told me that I was doing the will of white supremacy. Well, if I was doing the will of white supremacy, why would my account get deleted? Wouldn't white supremacy welcome me talking about black culture? That's part of the game. You see, you can't talk about black culture because then the cat's out of the bag. If the cat's out of the bag, you can't use black people to influence everybody else. The civil rights movement. The civil rights movement had to be led by black people. It couldn't be led by Jews. It couldn't be led by Asians. Couldn't be led by Hispanics. Nobody would follow. Black people have the influence. It's a gift and a curse. Because the same way that God wants them to use that influence for good, Satan wants them to use it for bad. Satan is going to use it for bad. Listen, y'all, a hit dog will holler. He on here spilling his guts, y'all. I didn't do it. I didn't report you. I promise. Boy, a hit dog will holler. A hit dog will holler.
Telling you that you were holding them back, that you were the reason that they're not making as much money as they should be, or that you're the reason that they have to work twice as hard in order to get where everyone else is at, that you're the reason that they're oppressed and don't have any privilege. Do you think that a person telling you something like that likes you? Do you think that they want you around, want you in their life? Or do you think that it's more likely that they resent you? It's obviously more likely that they would resent you. Now, the funny thing is, this is how a lot of black people feel about their skin. They feel like it holds them back. It's the reason they're oppressed. It's the reason they don't make as much money as they should. It's the reason they have to work twice as hard. It's the reason they don't have any privileges. If you're a black person and
I'm gonna start over. I have never in my life, Charles said Jews were marching side by side with blacks during the civil rights movement because they think alike. It's true. It's true. Black people's identity, who they are, is entrenched in slavery. Jews, it's the Holocaust. I really want to see what it would be like for both of those groups to exist without those two things. I would love to see it. I would just love to just sit down and talk with somebody who doesn't see that my identity is entrenched in something bad that happened, supposedly bad that happened. You know, I question all historical events, all of them. Thank you, Quay. But notice what he said. He said that imagine you saying that you love your skin, but also your skin is the root of all your problems. And who's causing these problems? Who's causing the problems for black people? Who's causing the problem for the immigrant? Who's causing the problem for the Jewish person? Who's causing the problem for the Hispanic? There's somebody that's causing these problems. Who is it? White people. When white people even bring up and prove a wrong that has occurred, people get upset. People get upset. Now, I'm going to ask you all a serious question. Have you ever met a black person that has worked 10 times harder than a white person? All you all have been on jobs. Have you ever seen a black person working 10 times harder than a white person? Have you ever seen a black person work harder than you? That's the question. Forget white folks. Have you been on a job? Have you ever seen a white person working harder than you? I mean, black person working harder than you. That's a good question, Nicodemus. I mean, it's a good question. It's a good question. I got a video after this, but the notion that black people are working harder is simply because they're black. They're not actually doing anything. If black people were working 10 times as harder, the black community wouldn't be in shambles. People that work 10 times as harder, they get married. If you're working 10 times as harder, you don't have time to get an abortion. If you're working 10 times as harder, you don't have time to spin the block. If you're working 10 times as harder, you're able to read, write, and do math on grade level. If you're working 10 times as harder, you don't have time to be obese. If you're working 10 times as harder, you don't have time to get STDs. So the black community itself is not a reflection of a group of people working 10 times as hard. If black folks are working 10 times as harder than everybody else, there would be a Black Wall Street on every corner. Every neighborhood would be Black Wall Street. Every other community has managed to have a flourishing ecosystem in America of their own community, except Black people. So the one group of people claiming they work 10 times harder than everybody else has the least to show for it. The only thing that I've seen Black people work 10 times hard at is death, destruction, and damnation. I've seen them go above and beyond in destroying something.
Is somebody telling you that you were holding them back, that you were the reason that they're not making as much money as they should be, or that you're the reason that they have to work twice as hard in order to get where everyone else is at, that you're the reason that they're oppressed and don't have any privilege? Do you think that a person telling you something like that likes you? Do you think that they want you around, want you in their life? Or do you think that it's more likely that they resent you? It's obviously more likely that they would resent you. Now, the funny thing is, this is how a lot of Black people feel about their skin. They feel like it holds them back. It's the reason they're oppressed. It's the reason they don't make as much money as they should. It's the reason they have to work twice as hard. It's the reason they don't have any privileges. If you're a Black person and you don't feel like your skin is the reason for any of those types of things, typically you're seen as someone who hates being Black. Isn't that ironic? The reason for any of those types of things, typically you're seen as the reason they don't have any privileges. If you're a Black person and you don't feel like your skin is the reason for any of those types of things, typically you're seen as someone who hates being Black. Isn't that ironic? The person that doesn't blame their skin for their circumstances is the person that's seen as hating their skin, while the person that blames their skin for everything negative that happens in their life is seen as the one who genuinely loves it.
Do you hear him breaking down the Blatrix? Do you hear him breaking down that Black people claim that all their problems are coming from their skin color? Simultaneously, a person that says, my skin color isn't holding me back, they get called a sellout. They get ostracized. They get ridiculed. They get criticized. So again, you can't be Black and not be a victim. That's what being Black is. It's to be a victim. That's what it is. That's the purpose of it. Is to make you wake up and say it's somebody else's fault. As Nikki said a few weeks ago, God won't allow you to be a victim. So we already know that the victim talks to Satan. We know that a victim is going to talk to Satan. As I said before, Donald Trump has been lied on for 10 straight years, and not one time has he said, let's censor somebody.
Do you think that maybe it's possible that the narrative that your skin is the reason for the negative actions in your life is a sneaky way to teach you a form of self-hatred? It's just a question. Of course, you don't have to agree with it. A sneaky way to teach you is the reason for the negative. I think that maybe it's possible that the narrative that your skin is the reason for the negative actions in your life is a sneaky way to teach you a form of self-hatred. It's just a
He said, what if this programming behind having you believe, let me say it again. He's saying that the programming behind you believing that all of your problems come from your skin is a sneaky way to get you to hate yourself. At the core of victimhood is self-hate. Because when you love yourself, you point those fingers inward because you don't want to be a victim. In fact, you want to be the best version of yourself. So the fact that Black folks are running around saying that they are oppressed in 2026 is literally self-hatred. The fact that Black folks are still running around saying they're still in slavery is literally self-hatred. Because there's no way you can wake up thinking that you are a slave in 2026 and you love yourself. That's impossible. But this is what the Blatrix is. And the goal is to get Black people to influence the rest of the world. Matter of fact, let me go to something real quick. Casually Conservative, please give him a follow. Casually spelled with a K. Casually Conservative, I think it's 2 Ks. He said, why do they pick the worst of Black culture to emulate? Well, I'll answer that question now, because there is no good part of Black culture. And this is what Frank Zanu is saying when he says no culture. There is no good part of Black culture. What they're emulating is what Black people celebrate about Black culture. Play it again. You know what's funny about the Africans? The Africans, they can't never get it right. When it comes to the outfits, the Africans can never get it right. They all, and you can always tell because it's like they're always missing something, you know? It's always missing something. Always. Peanut butter, no jelly. Ham, no burger. Kool-Aid, no sugar. Like, the Africans can't never get the fashion right. They may have the shirt right, but the pants and the shoes going to be wrong. They may have the shoes right. Usually the shoes are never right. Let me take that back. Usually the shoes are never right. But they just can't get it right. And it's just, they just don't have the, I don't know what it is about Black folks in America, but they actually do have swag. They do. Because around the world, it's bad. They just don't have, I don't know what it is. Cereal, no Merc. Right. I'm glad you said that, Ro. Hold on, Ro. I'm glad you said that, Ro. Oh, Ro, I'm glad you said it, Ro. Hold on.
Noodles with no packet. Cereal with the canned Merc. The powder Merc. No Merc. Waffles, no syrup. Jelly. No jelly, nothing.
So that's from a video of Finesse 2 times, but they put Hillary Clinton on top of it, you know, it's like a voiceover. him voice over Hillary, and it said rich white liberals when they campaign to blacks.
I ate noodles with no packet. Cereal with the canned milk. The powder milk. No milk. Waffles, no syrup. Jelly. No jelly, nothing.
What's funny is though is that this, think about for a second, right? Just think for a second. These people, politicians, want you to vote for them. And when they want to get your vote, what do? Think about it. This is what it means to be black. When these Democrats want the black vote, how do they appeal to black people? When Hollywood wants you to go to the movie theaters, how do they appeal to you? When these fast food chains want you to patron their establishment, how do they appeal to you? How does this big machine appeal to black people? That will let you know what being black is. You've never seen McDonald's say, or heard McDonald's say, read a book, get a free Big Mac. You've never heard Popeye say, write an essay on your favorite person, get a free 3-piece with 2 sides and a biscuit. How does the machine appeal to black people? That's what being black is. How do Democrats appeal to Hispanics? How do Democrats appeal to Asians? How do Democrats appeal to every other demographic? Why is it so different when it comes to black people? You know why? Because that's what black is. The smart person says, I'm not black, because you can't control the narrative around what being black is. If you ask 100 people what being black is, you are going to get 100 different answers. I had that magazine. I wanted to read it. If you ask 100 black people what being black is, you will get 100 different answers. So if you cannot define what black is, then is it even real? The answer is no. You can't define it. Pizza Hut's Book It program is a long-running reading incentive campaign where children earn free one-topping personal pan pizzas for meeting monthly reading goals. Prudence, that is beautiful. Kudos to Pizza Hut. I worked in education and I never saw Pizza Hut doing nothing with the children. I never saw it. But Prudence says book it, so we're going to book it. The Pizza Hut Book It program. Now what's sad, why have we not seen this blasted everywhere? You barely see a Pizza Hut. Why have we not seen this Book It program by Pizza Hut? I've not heard one politician mention it. I've not heard one prominent black person mention. I have not heard anybody that quote unquote cares about the black children mention this Pizza Hut booking? Why not? Right. They don't appeal to Jews like that. They don't say I have a kosher beef in my bag. They would never do that. Exactly, because they'd be offended by it. They'd be offended by it. Daryl said, I asked a question on Facebook, what is black culture? I still have not gotten an answer. I know. They can't be defined because it varies from person to person, because everyone is having their own personal experience being black while simultaneously living up to a propagandized version of being black. Jocelyn said, the system wants to keep us dumbed down. That is true. Amber said, I did that program, that Pizza Hut program, 20 years. I'm just mad that my first time hearing about the program is in 2026 when it should be everywhere. That should be everywhere. Like, why is that not news? Why are the Democrats bigging up Pizza Hut? Why aren't the liberals supporting Pizza Hut? Charles said, black culture is looking at whites and doing the opposite. You're welcome. That is a great quote. Black culture is looking at whites and doing the opposite. That is a great quote. We got time for one more video. We'll be doing part 2 on, what's today? Wednesday? We'll be doing part 2 on Friday, maybe. On Friday. Speaking of the culture,
Mad at me now. They get mad at Wayne Frazier. I was on the school board for 8 years. And I told them one of the things that they doing with black children, black boys and girls, ain't none of them graduating that can read.
What?
Got a high school diploma in their hand and can't read.
That's crazy.
And ain't nobody saying nothing. We got black children graduating out of Richmond County school system with a high school diploma and they can't read at a 5th grade level and can't count no money, can't tell time. And nobody's saying nothing. We going to church every Sunday and we praying. We going to the Alpha Omega Sci-Fi party. We going to a boots on the ground party and got that little fan in our hand, but our children dying every day in the street. And if everybody blaming on Donald Trump. Donald Trump is American. That's what he do. We got to do something in our own community.
Right.
We got to do something in our own community.
thank you, Anthony Lebrakiak, for the super sticker. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it.
Right on.
Now I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to say
Thank you again. Matter of fact, let's just start over. Thank you again, sir.
they get mad at me now. They get mad at Wayne Frazier. I was on the school board for 8 years. And I told them one of the things that they doing with black children, black boys and girls, ain't none of them graduating that can read.
What?
Got a high school diploma in their hand and can't read.
That's crazy.
And ain't nobody saying nothing. We got black children graduating out of Richmond County school system with a high school diploma and they can't read at a 5th grade level and can't count no money, can't tell time. And nobody's saying nothing. We going to church every Sunday and we praying. We going to the Alpha Omega Sci-Fi party. We going to a boots on the ground party and got that little fan in our hand, but our children dying every day in the street. And if everybody blaming on Donald Trump is American. That's what he do. We got to do something in our own community.
That's right.
We got to do something in our own community.
That's right on.
Now I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to say a lot of shit up in here, and a lot of people probably mad at me because I'm going to say something, but don't let me get killed when I walk out the door now, because There's a lot of people. There's a lot of
Oh
people.
no, they ain't gonna touch it while I'm around. They ain't gonna touch it. Not Dr. Waddell. They ain't gonna touch Dr. Waddell.
Don't let them get it, because
Not Dr. Fraser.
you don't supposed to talk like this now.
Man, we ain't worried about him.
Talk like this.
Now, when I was coming up, that's how all the older black men talk. How he talking. When I was coming up, that's how they all talked. That's how they all talk, just like that. There wasn't no victim mindset. There wasn't no the white man. That's how all the old folks talk. Just like how he talk, that's how they talk. Just like that. Hand in the pocket, just like that. Walk just like that. Hat on just like that. Might have had some whiskey, maybe, maybe not, but that's how the black man talk. Older black when I was growing up, just like he did talk, just like that.
Worried about it. Hit it inside peanut butter, outside.
Outside jelly, inside peanut butter, outside jelly. 7 days of the week, 7 different jellies.
Dr. Fraser, man, that's the original, baby.
Baby for life. What was the Iran video? The Iran video, I'm sorry. What video did they send out? Does anybody know about the video that Iran sent out? What was the video? The old man is base, but the blame is on him and the black men. They are the head, and the blame is on them. I mean, it's true. It's true. The ball was dropped before the ball was dropped. You know. Oh, Iran issued a threat to the U.S. Listen, y'all. Listen. I'll talk about it on Friday or Saturday, but we don't know who's in the country now. I told y'all it's going to be a bunch of false flag events. It's going to be a bunch of stuff going on. All this stuff is coordinated and it's all on cue. Biden let in 20 million illegals. So, you know, it is what it is at this point. But what is Iran going to do? You say it's the last image that will get you. I gotta see that video, baby, for life. You gotta either send it to me or DM me or something, or tag me in it. Please do something so I can watch the video. My cousin said, I think they might be talking about the AI generated video of them blowing up a statue that resembles the Statue of Liberty. Oh, okay. Well, okay, I need to see it. I'm gonna just look up Iran video. Iran has been 30 days away from getting nuclear weapons for the past 30 years. Netanyahu been talking that blank since 96. I keep telling y'all that the weapons of mass destruction / nuclear weapon hustle is a scam. They always talking about somebody about to build a nuke. But when they go over there looking for the nukes, they can't find the nukes. They say, okay, we got intelligence that they have the nukes. We go over there and don't find a singular nuclear weapon in 20 years. Do you know how impossible it is to be looking for something for 20 years and don't find nothing? Do you know how impossible it is to go looking for something for 20 years and don't find anything? It's impossible. It's a hustle. All of this nuclear weapon talk, one day they're going to get on TV and say, if there's a threat of nuclear war, everybody's going to die. We need you all to come together. We want to sign a global peace treaty where you all give up all of your sovereignty for the greater good. I'm telling you what they're going to do. It's a pump fake. I'm telling you. At the end of a nuclear weapon is your freedom. Hold on, they blew up a statue of Baal and Moloch. Thank you, Jamar, for the Cash App. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amber. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. And I will see you all on either Friday or Saturday. Actually, Crystal and I are going live tomorrow. You're going to see me tomorrow with Crystal. We're going live, but I might just go live then on Saturday instead of Friday. So I'm going live tomorrow. But listen, you all, I love y'all. And I want y'all to have a blessed evening. I will see you all soon. Love y'all.